Overwatch 2. What a title, huh? Even if you haven't played Overwatch, you probably still are aware of it, or at least aware of the weight that name carries. Maybe you've seen an animated short or two, or maybe you've heard about all of the broken promises and egregious business decisions. You know something's off when people are excited for loot boxes coming back in 2025. The game's had a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. In my very first video on this channel, I talked about playable villains in video games, and I praised one of my favorite Overwatch heroes, Doomfist. And even though I voiced my disdain for the direction Overwatch 2 went, at the same time I praised the game for making a good playable villain. And honestly, since then, I have been missing Overwatch. I think those who were genuinely invested in the game but have been burnt by it in whatever way feel sort of the same way. Over the past few months, I've been researching how the cancellation of Overwatch 2's PvE mostly stems from the original Overwatch 1 team's vision not really coming together. The current devs seem to have inherited a bad hand and are doing their best with what they've got, especially now with Microsoft breathing down their necks. So my feelings have changed somewhat, and I'm more so just focused on having fun with the game again. You know, new hero releases, a few competitive games here and there, not taking it so seriously, and just focusing on the fun. I was really into Malga for a while. Even though there were some flaws in his kit design, I still had a good time maining him. And recently I found out I like playing Echo a lot. That's been going pretty well. And then the spotlight happened, and this is one of the things they announced.
This is the arena where you don't just outplay the enemy, you outthink and outbuild them too.
A brand new mode, one they're claiming is now the third pillar of Overwatch. So they were looking to invite people to some closed playtests, and so I decided to shoot my shot on a whim and surprisingly got invited to play Stadium early. But I want to make one thing completely clear. I am in no way sponsored by Blizzard. I was invited to play something early, and now I want to share my honest thoughts on the mode, the good and the bad, and what it could mean for the game's future. So please just understand that this is all my personal opinion and nothing else. So first, what is Stadium? Stadium is, in short, a competitive 5v5 best of 7 game mode. The most obvious change is the option to play in third person, but the main gimmick is that you spend currency to evolve your hero as the game goes on. One of the biggest reasons why so many people were mad at the cancellation of PvE, including myself, was that the talent trees were no longer going to happen, that we weren't going to be able to level up and build out our favorite heroes anymore. But with Stadium, that's what it's all about. Between rounds, you get a window of time to spend your Stadium cash in the armory. You can purchase items to enhance your hero that increase their base stats and ability functions, while powers are more transformative and can be equipped for free at the beginning of rounds 1, 3, 5, and 7. Items buff your weapons, abilities, or survivability and come in common, rare, and epic tiers. Most items are generally universal, though there are hero-specific ones. You can have up to 6 at a time, and you can easily free a slot up by selling it for the price you bought it. Powers are where things get interesting though. These give unique passives, modifiers, or even brand new abilities, like Maid turning into a free-moving snowball, or Moira shooting out multiple orbs. You have to make sure you choose wisely though, because they're permanent and last for the rest of the match. If you're having a hard time picking, there's 2 suggested builds that you can use as sort of a base to get things flowing, but make sure to experiment on your own because you can make some pretty crazy builds. To even get items and all that, you have to earn cash. You start out with 3,500 and earn more based on your performance. If your team falls behind, bounties will appear on high performing enemies, and taking them down will earn you a portion of the bounty based on your contribution. This is all to say that the more cash you make, the stronger you get. I genuinely enjoy this gameplay loop. It's incredibly satisfying to experiment with upgrades you handpicked and then watching it all come together as you just go off. It's the closest we've gotten to that hero building they teased all that time ago with the old talent trees. Pulling off silly shit like spamming homing torpedoes every half second is just fun, and when you fully lean into one ability and build around it, you can absolutely dominate the lobby, and it feels great. The map pool is good enough. There are currently 9 maps with Control, Push, and Clash as the possible objectives. I'm a big fan of the newer maps. I especially like the Gladiator Arena and Redwood Dam maps, and they really remind me of maps you'd see in older games, specifically local multiplayer console shooters. And that leads me to the aesthetics of the mode. I found the UI and overall design pretty easy on the eyes. At first I wasn't entirely sure what things like ability power meant, but once you get a gauge on things, it becomes easier to understand what each perk does. Now, the overall theme of Stadium is that you're in this big arena with cameras and screens. It definitely feels a bit Fall Guys coded. While it blends with the overall map design really well, I can't help but feel how different this feels compared to other maps in the game. The objectives in those modes are tied to the map's story, or at least make sense lore-wise, like on King's Row where you deliver an EMP to an Omnic Ghetto and so on. But in Stadium, the whole setup is more about fighting for entertainment. You have these random NPCs cheering you on and these giant screens with your heroes on them that are admittedly pretty cool because they show your selected skin. But Stadium doesn't connect to any specific faction or storyline, it just exists. And while that's not entirely a bad thing, it does make it feel even more disconnected from the universe than we're used to. Speaking of things we're not used to, third person. Oh boy, I'm honestly a bit torn. It's nice being able to see more of your hero. This will definitely give cosmetics more value since you're actually seeing them more, but gameplay wise, I'm not so sure. Being able to see around walls definitely offers a competitive edge, but it can also feel a bit awkward, especially for heroes with bulkier hitboxes. I'd say it's generally okay for damage, and hell, support honestly feels better with it, but not so much when you're playing tank. Some of them take up nearly a quarter of the screen and it sort of feels claustrophobic at times. There are moments where the map geometry doesn't go too well with your preferred shoulder view, so sometimes you're forced to swap perspectives just to get a clearer line of sight, which can be a little bit jarring. Personally, I'm way more used to a right over the shoulder view, so having to switch to the left felt kind of awkward, especially in the middle of a fight. I also found it a bit jarring when it came to leading my shots in third person. It's definitely something you have to get used to. Overall, I wouldn't say one perspective is strictly better than the other, as it's really situational. But for now, I'm fine with playing in first person, regardless of the obvious competitive advantage. Luckily, it's easy enough to toggle on and off mid-game. When it comes to the hero pool, I think most players will find someone they like, especially with new heroes being rotated in each season. Some of my personal favorite OGs are here, like Diva, Zarya, and Lucio. That said, it definitely seems like they're prioritizing the more popular heroes. Personally, I'm looking forward to when they start adding more of the wackier heroes, ones with slightly more unconventional kits like Malga, Echo, Ventures, Sigma, Junkrat. There are a few oddballs in there already, Mei and Moira, but overall the current pool could use a bit more variety, especially the damage roll. Right now it feels intentionally curated, and I'd just love to see them include more bolder and niche hero picks with future updates. As for what's next, I honestly think Stadium has the potential to be a real turning point for Overwatch. It captures some of that long-lost experimental spirit. It's not an absolutely perfect 10 out of 10 experience, and it definitely stands apart from the Overwatch we knew, but maybe that's the point. After everything this game has been through, the pivots, the cancellations, the competition, its perception by the general gaming community, it's refreshing to see something that feels like it's going for something new instead of trying to fix what's been broken. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing which heroes they bring in next and how they expand on the mode. For the first time in a long time, it feels like I'm just enjoying Overwatch for what it is, not for what it used to be or what it promised to be. And maybe that's enough of a starting off point to start falling in love with the game all over again.